I'll start with the same question I asked Coach Woods, which is when you and your defensive staff started to build this class, how much of your plan was based on needing a certain number of players, a certain kind of players at each position group, and how much was simply go get the best player available no matter where he plays?
No, I think you definitely have to know the roster and know what you expect to come back. But yes, the best player at every position based on fit, and it's not just athletic ability. It's guys that we feel like are going to fit here at the high school level, guys that we feel like want to be here for the right reasons, and then obviously at the transfer level, guys that we feel like will be impact guys and be able to help us.
And to piggyback off of that, how much time did the assistants on your staff lobby for, I need another linebacker, I need another defensive end, I need another corner?
No, I mean, generally I think we all discuss it and talk about it because you've got roster limitations, and now the roster, is changing, or expected to change. So at the end of the day, we want to put the best team on the field, and best two deep to make sure that we're ready to play, through the course of a, full season. So, sometimes you might have 9 scholarships allotted at a position, but you need an extra scholarship at a different position because that's what the need is for the team. So, I think when you have a bunch of selfless guys, we all want to do what's best for us to be at our best.
So much of your success last year and even before was being able to rotate those fresh guys on the defensive line. When you're building that kind of a deep group, do you prefer transfers so you have video of them playing at the college level as grown men as opposed to freshmen no matter how talented?
No, I think I think we're kind of in that transition phase right now where I'm really excited about our 2026 class and the prospects that we have in the state to sign, and some out of state, but to sign, sign some really good guys. So I think when you look at it, you got to look holistically at, we were in the American, it was about a year ago, right? So we hadn't been recruiting in the ACC at a Power 4 level that long, so I think it just affords us a different platform to be able to recruit, at a really high level for high school kids. And I think ideally you'd love to have a chance to coach a kid for 4 or 5 years instead of 1 or 2.
Is there a difference in the approach of targeting players who fit specifically into your system as opposed to finding just the most physically gifted player out there and teaching him your system?
I don't think our system is overly complicated. I think it's more finding guys that, like I said, once again, have the athletic traits to come in and we feel like can play at a high level in this system. But then you have to look past the athletics. You got to look at the fit. You got to look at the character of the kid. You got to look at how he is as a learner. And I think that's where all of us can look at the film and say, is this kid good enough? Yes or no? But the thing that you have to look at in detail is everything off the field and try to project, how quick he's going to be able to help you because, and this kid's really buttoned up for a high school kid. He's taking notes when he comes up to a junior day in meetings, and you look at all of those little things to help you determine and make the best assessment possible on how quick that young man can help you.
Last year you talked a lot about, obviously the physical talent on the field, but also the leadership and the communication of a bunch of guys who are gone, like the Jonathan McGills and Kobe Wilson and Ahmad Walker and Elijah and all the rest. Do you see that leadership communication role definitely going to players who've already been here, or could theoretically new players come in and assume that part of the role?
No,
as well?
I think, when you look, Jonathan McGill was new and became a leader right away. So Ahmad Walker was new, although he wasn't new to me, but he was new to here and the staff, and was a leader in his own way right away. So I think it's going to be both. I think you're going to have guys that have come in here that over time emerge into those leadership roles, and I think you're going to have guys that have been here and know what the standard is, and that their position coaches and our strength staff are working on building up and equipping to be those leaders and embrace those roles that are necessary to have a successful football team.
With all the talent that went out the door at the end of last year, what's the hardest hole to fill in your defense this year?
Well, I would say I just think up front, D tackle and linebacker, we lost a lot. I think with Isaiah and Cam, two really experienced guys that have basically been co-starters coming back, you feel really good about where we're at with those guys, but then got to continue the depth behind them. But I think linebacker and D tackle will definitely be the biggest positions that we're going to be constantly evaluating, trying to figure out where we're at in spring.